Let's discuss the ethylene and polyethylene production process. Ethylene is produced by steam cracking petroleum naphtha, LPG, or ethane at high temperature steam around 1,650 degrees Fahrenheit. This produces, among other things, an ethylene gas, which is then rapidly cooled but still hot at 392 degrees Fahrenheit to halt the reactions and stabilize the chain growth. Next comes the compression of roughly 35 bars, which helps pack the molecules tight. They then make their way to the absorption bed, where an amine solution strips out acids, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur compounds, and CO2. Next comes the chillers. These chillers cool temperatures down to minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, which helps liquefy out the propane and butane, also known as LPG, from ethane gas. Then the hazardous acetylene is converted out of the process by selective hydrogenation, where hydrogen is ran over a palladium or nickel-based catalyst, which converts the acetylene straight to ethylene. Removing the acetylene is important as it can interrupt polymerization of turning ethylene into polyethylene. This will be discussed a little bit later. Then comes the more intense cryogenic chilling. These heavy-duty chillers can operate at minus 238 degrees Fahrenheit. This helps pull any remaining gases that have turned further into liquid out of the process. Then comes the distillation columns. These tall column towers separate the gases by their boiling points. Ethylene pulls out pure around minus 155 degrees Fahrenheit. In comparison, ethylene's close neighbor, propylene, boils off into a gas around minus 53 degrees Fahrenheit. The last step is the molecular sieve that dries the ethylene, where any lingering water, CO, hydrogen, or methane are removed. Ethylene purities hit 99.99%, with acetylene levels low to avoid polymer defects. The purified ethylene is fed continuously into a polymerization reactor using a titanium and aluminum-based Ziegler, not a catalyst. The purpose of this specific catalyst is it grabs an ethylene molecule with the titanium, then uses the aluminum to yank open ethylene's double bond. The bond splits, ethylene snaps on, and now the catalysts are stuck to the end of a growing chain. Because of this titanium and aluminum-based catalyst, it's critical that the acetylene has been removed from the ethylene, like we discussed earlier in the process. Without it removed, the acetylene would stick to the titanium sites like glue, blocking ethylene from ever getting a chance to latch on. Now that our ethylene is turning into polyethylene, let's cover some of the polyethylene grades. Operating conditions and co-monomer selection determine the polyethylene grade. For instance, let's discuss high-density polyethylene, HDPE, linear low-density polyethylene, LLDPE, and low-density polyethylene, LDPE. HDPE, high-density polyethylene, is produced at a temperature of 266 degrees Fahrenheit and pressure around 20 atmospheres, often gas phase, with minimal branching and no co-monomers. This yields stiff, strong materials suitable for bottles and rigid containers. Next is LLDPE, linear low-density polyethylene. LLDPE is produced at slightly lower temperatures of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, with pressure near HDPE at 20 atmospheres. Controlled amounts of co-monomers such as butene-1, hexene, octane combining linear chains with limited branching to achieve strength and flexibility for squeeze bottles and durable films. And lastly, there's LDPE, low-density polyethylene. LDPE, unlike its neighbors HDPE and LLDPE, is produced under very high temperature of 500 degrees Fahrenheit and very high pressure at 3,000 atmospheres, with no co-monomers added. LDPE isn't made from running ethylene through a titanium and aluminum-based Ziegler, not a catalyst like HDPE and LLDPE. Instead, it uses free radical initiators such as oxygen or organic peroxides that generate radical chain ends. This leads to extensive chain transfer and backbiting reactions. These conditions create highly branched polymer chains, resulting in the LDPE to be a soft, flexible material used in films and lids. Now, regardless of the grade of polyethylene being made, once enough polyethylene has been produced, you must stop the polymerization. Ethanol or methanol is typically injected to poison the titanium and aluminum catalyst. This kills the active sites and terminates the growing polymer chains, stopping further conversion of ethylene to polyethylene. From there, the molten polymer, which is around 392 degrees Fahrenheit, is rapidly cooled down to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the thick but flowing polyethylene plastic is gathered, it's then heated up again to add additives such as UV stabilizers and antioxidants. Then the hot plastic makes its way to the extruders, where these machines run the polyethylene plastic through a die, which forms the plastic into looking like spaghetti noodle strings, that are then cooled in a water bath. The long, stiff plastic spaghetti strings are then cut into small pellets. The pellets are then dried by a hot air spinner, and a vacuum pump kicks in to degas the pellets. From there, they fall through a vibrating screen to ensure uniform size. From there, it falls into polyethylene-lined Gaylord boxes, ready to send out to the blow molder, making milk jugs, or the plastic film producer making the wrapping that goes on your cheese, or the toy maker that's going to mold the pellets into a plastic hamburger. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this overview of the polyethylene process. I hope you found it helpful.